Welcome back. In this tutorial, I will go over how you can check why your Windows computer crashed using the tools available within the operating system. These tools are useful if you have experienced random crashes but unable to pinpoint the issue. In other words, you still end up having access to the Windows after the crash, but you want to investigate the issue so you can fix it. The first tool we will look at is called the Event Viewer. From your Windows Start menu or Windows menu, you can type Event, and the app called Event Viewer should appear on your search. Click and open the app, and this app is available on Windows Server operating systems as well as Windows Client operating systems such as Windows 11, Windows 10. And on this Event Viewer application, on the left hand side, you will have few options: custom views, Windows logs, applications and services logs, and subscriptions. What we are interested in is the Windows logs and maybe applications and services logs. If you expand the tree, you can see under the Windows logs, we have applications, security, setup, system, forwarded events as subsections under the Windows logs. If you expand the applications and services logs, you have the Active Directory here and bunch of other stuff because this is a Windows server. For most of you who are home users who are using Windows 11 or Windows 10, you will see the application, security, setup, system, and forwarded events. So I will mostly focus on the Windows logs rather than the applications and services logs in this tutorial. In here, in most scenarios, in most cases, what we are interested in is the system subsection here. Because in an event of a crash, most of the logs that are important to us will appear here. When you click on that section, you might get a little bit overwhelmed because there are so many little bits of information appear here as information, as well as some stuff appear as warnings. As you can see from the symbols and the label level, most of the stuff that may result in Windows operating system crashing going to be either a warning or an error. So because these logs have a lot of information appear here, the first thing I do in an event of a crash is to filter this. In order to filter these, this middle section, what you can do is you can select the subsection from the left hand side. In this case, I'm selecting the system. Right click, select filter current log, and in here I will pick critical, error, and warning. I'm not interested in the other stuff. I'm interested in critical, warning, and error. And I want everything for now, but you can select last hour if the crash happened during the last hour or last 12 hours, or you can even do a custom range. But for this purpose, this example, we will select anytime. I'm going to click OK. So what happened here is that it filtered out only the items that are warnings and errors and etc., the ones that we picked, and it laid out for us so we can go and look into details on what they are. So if your computer crashed, you can typically look for errors first, and if you can't find the information in errors, maybe look at the warnings just before the error or just after the error. That's one of the rule of thumb that I use. For now, let's pick one. Let's pick this error, for example. If I click on it, we have some general information available, and sometimes it comes with a link to Microsoft website. For example, this link. You can either click on it or you can open your web browser and copy and paste it, and that gives the information about that error. So this error is the secure boot db and dbx variable update event, and it shows some information on official Microsoft website, and this is what the IT analysts like myself use to troubleshoot system error. So when the error shows up, I go into the event viewer, check what the link they have, if they have one, and then I will go here and find out some information. So none of the computer engineers, IT analysts, or IT professionals memorize everything. We usually actually read manuals, and this is basically like official Microsoft manual for that particular error. Under details, you may find some useful information if you know what you're looking at. But for most home users, I don't believe details are very important for you to figure out what's going on. But it will be useful to read this general tab and find some information about what causes your crash. For example, sometimes one of the common errors is your random access memory RAM stick fails at random times. And it will clearly state your RAM stick failed, that's why it crashed. And it will give you a link to Microsoft website explaining, you probably need a new RAM stick, for example, replacement stick. Another thing is when you click on some of these items, you don't have a link, but it has some bits of information that may lead to additional information about why this warning or something showing up. For example, this warning under system shows time service. And it has this weird number 0x0800. This is basically linking to a Microsoft, like a KB, like a knowledge base article. So you can go open your browser and type Microsoft, and you can type the KB article, and then copy that this number and paste it. Click on the official Microsoft link for it, and it'll tell you what that error code is, and even some community comments related to that, so that you can find a solution to it. So once you figure out in event viewer what causing your crash, you can click on that item and you can go to general tab. Either you can read what's causing it, or you can find this kind of little bit of information that you can Google search, or you may find a link directly to Microsoft website. Now that is the event viewer. So using the information in here, we can maybe pinpoint what's wrong with your device, what causes the crash, and we can fix it. There are other tools also available in addition to the event viewer. One more tool I'm going to show you that may be useful in figuring out what's causing the crashes, what's causing all the headaches on your system. So just before we go, in the event viewer, there are other options you can click, like the other subsections here. The same principle apply that I showed for under system, but for most of you, it's just a system. For server administrators, if your server is crashing, you should look at the applications and services log section. And there are some information here, maybe relevant to your situation. For example, Active Directory web services. That's not really relevant to the general public. Most of you will be focused on Windows log section, and that's how you figure out what's wrong with your device. Now, the other one we're going to look at is called the reliability monitor, the other tool. Again, you can go to the start menu and type reliability, and it'll give you the view reliability history option, the view reliability history application. Click on it, open it. Once it's open, it'll show you some information on the history of your device. On here, it shows some events here, some issues, like you can click on it and it'll show up what happened. Anything that shows up under critical events may be of interest. So if you click on here, like there's a red cross in here, if I click on it, it says critical event and it says view technical detail. If I click on it, it'll give you maybe a little bit of more information. It says the system shut down this time on this day and it was an unexpected shutdown. Maybe you knew why that happened by looking at it. Like if I look at my own computer, this is a virtual machine. If I look at my own computer's that information, that will that it will have more information about the it will have more dots and more information here. So if I type on reliability history on my own device and I bring it back here, this is my own device, and there are a whole bunch of stuff. There's warnings, there is information events. So what we are interested in mostly is the critical events and the warnings. So this is the virtual machine I'm using for this example, but this is my own machine that has way more information than that, because this machine has been running for a while. And these bits of information, like for example in here, if I click on like view technical details, like one of these, like let's say this warning, it might provide some additional information. Here says installation failure, Windows failed to install the following update, and it gives again that error code, like weird error code, see, and it tells you some little bit of bits of information, and you can go ahead and then go to a search on the internet, that particular one, installation fail, and you can go to Microsoft community or official Microsoft website, and you can read more into that particular error. So these are the tools I typically use as an IT analyst: the reliability monitor and the event viewer when there is a crash. And 90% of the time, maybe less than 10%, that I need to go and search further detail, further tools. In 90% of the cases, using event viewer and reliability monitor, I would be at least able to point to a direction where I need to go in order to fix the problem. If I can't figure out exactly what causing the system to crash, I would be at least able to figure out what else I can do, what kind of things I can do to fix it. So that's how we, as IT analysts, as IT professionals, figure out what causes a Windows crash: the event viewer and the reliability monitor. This is a very simple two tools already built into your Microsoft Windows 11, Windows 10 home computers or home operating systems, consumer operating systems, as well as your Windows Server systems, where you can use to troubleshoot your computer. So that's everything for today. If you have any questions regarding what I covered today or anything else from my YouTube channel, please reach out to me. Please do not forget to thumbs up this video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, have a nice